Hello everybody, good afternoon, welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and it's our preview for the Southampton game. And before we get into lots of things, I just want you to look at the image on the left. I know a lot of you want to admire the image right in front of you, which is me, but the image on the left, just admire that. You might want to applaud it. You might even start crying about it. But it is a very, very nice image, isn't it? Because look, we are run by Prats. We're not very competent, but somehow, finally, we're starting to resemble a starting 11 that makes you feel quite happy inside. Casemiro straight into the team, of course, but that actually is not a bad 11. I mean, I'd still make 3 or 4 changes to it, but it's not a bad 11, and it's an 11 that Ten Hag can put out against Southampton. So yeah, we'll get into that. I think we'll be a bit careful going into this game. I do want to dive into Southampton a little bit, but I think we have got to be a little bit careful going into this game because we could be complacent. There are many examples of this, but the one that I would take from the history annals is we were 2-0 down against Manchester City. I'll stop talking in that silly voice. We were 2-0 down to Manchester City at the Etihad and they were going to win the Premier League at half time. We came out second half and we won through 3-2. It was scintillating. It was led by Paul Pogba. I think Smalling scored. It was a fantastic game. The next week we lost to West Brom at home. So this is dangerous. This is really dangerous. We did really well on Monday night, but now when we're expected to win, we have to go and win. And that's why I'd bring the king back in, Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he has to play in this game. I'll explain why. I know some of you won't agree with me. Maybe we'll even run a poll, but Cristiano Ronaldo has to play in this game. But before we get into that, look, we are in the midst of a transfer window. We've got 1 week to go. And then he said we've got 1 leak to go. There'll be plenty of leaks coming out of that dressing room this season. Don't you worry about that. But we've got 1 week to go. 1 week today. We played Leicester, funnily enough, on transfer deadline day. But 1 week today, the transfer window closes. So where are we at? And I suppose a lot of people are asking about Antony. I tweeted it earlier, and I suppose I can just put it on the screen for you there so you can read if you don't want to listen, or you can read and listen, which is I tried to do. So United are content with Antony progress, no chance of him playing against Southampton, and are aware Ajax won't sell until they have an agreement with Chelsea and Ziyech. This is what I've been told this morning by a couple of people, and it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I think that if we'd lost to Liverpool, maybe there would have been some more urgency to go and get Antony, but we've relaxed on this deal. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Don't start saying, well, the Glazers have withdrawn the funds. They've committed the funds. Antony's on strike. He will definitely come to... Well, don't clip that. He will come to Manchester United, I believe. I think everybody is fully expecting that. But it's now fallen into the category of, well, he's not going to play against Southampton. So if he's not going to play against Southampton, does it really matter if we don't sign him until Sunday, Monday, Tuesday next week? Although, you could say, as I said this morning, this is a priority signing for Erik Ten Hag that has now missed 10% of our Premier League games. There are 38 Premier League games. We'll have played 4 after Southampton. Quick maths, 10% of 38 is 3.8. We'll have played 4 games and we won't have signed Antony. So he's missed 10% of our Premier League games already. So we need him in for that Leicester game. We needed him in at the start of the season. But what's basically happening, and it is a bit ridiculous. I will admit this. I read somebody on Twitter said it, and I wish I knew their account because they were spot on. Why are Man United relaxed about getting this Antony deal done? We are giving them stupid money. Stupid money. I think everyone agrees with that. I like the player. I really can't wait for us to sign him, but it is stupid money. We're giving them over £80 million for an Eredivisie winger. It's weird. Really weird. But we're also sat there going, take your time. If I was giving £80 million to Ajax for Antony, I'd say wrap him up and deliver him yourself on Tuesday lunchtime because he's got to play against Southampton. The fact that we are now sat there waiting just shows how weak we are in this deal, effectively, because we can't rush it up. We can't. We're offering them stupid money and still Ajax are going, we'll think about it. We've got other things to sort out. Now, from Ajax's point of view, they don't want to sell the player. And the reason this is now being held up, and I did say this yesterday, I don't think Antony's going to happen imminently. It could happen at 4 o'clock today, but it might not happen until next Tuesday. And I probably think it will be a few days yet because Ajax are trying to get Ziyech and Chelsea know we're going to give silly money to Ajax for Antony. So Chelsea are saying to Ajax, we want silly money for Ziyech. I think they want something like 35 million quid. Well, it's not worth that. I think Antony's worth 25 million pounds top. But they know that Ajax are wealthy now. So Chelsea, again, in a stupid way, we are benefiting our rival, because half of that money that we give them for Antony is going to go straight into Chelsea's pocket for Ziyech. So, whatever you think about that, wrap it up. But we will get Antony, but we're now waiting on Ajax. It is silly. I don't really agree with it. How you can be offering £80 million for a player that's worth 50 million and that club is still saying, wait, we'll do it when we're ready, is ridiculous. But it just shows you again how incompetent we are at transfers. We are offering nearly double Antony's value, and still they're going wait, because and we can't and look, we can't do anything else. We could go for Gakpo, but he's not left-footed, so United are just gonna have to wait, and we'll have to wait and see when it happens. But he won't be playing against Southampton, obviously. For me, this is a massive game. We want to see the same effort and performance. This is the judge of Ten Hag seriously, says Ray. Thank you, Ray. Time out because I said Martial should start over Ronaldo, says HKN. Well, you shouldn't get timed out for that. Mark, I'm afraid that Glazers out is dying again. It won't die on this channel, V. We will keep mentioning the Glazers out movement. If it dies, everywhere else it dies, but I'll keep mentioning it until I'm boring you. But sticking with the show, a couple of other stories. Gakpo, there are rumours that we're going to go in for Gakpo and Antony. That's been going on all week. I think we could get Gakpo for £35 million, but to be honest with you, I think if Ronaldo's staying, they won't do it, even though they should. Mark, please change the low flag from England to Portuguese. My autism cannot handle it. Yeah, Scum, it's sort of a bit of a joke that carried on from last season, and if you know, you know. But yeah, I'll put a request in for you if it's causing you issues. And we've also been linked to Memphis Depay, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But let's come back to the game. Let's talk about this game, because this is a preview, and it's one I'm really looking forward to. And I think that, you know me, I'm more than happy to have my say on things. And I think that Cristiano Ronaldo should start this game. Fix the shirt numbers. De Jong deal got Chris. I don't know what you're talking about. Stop ruining the show, Chris, with your stupid comments. Right, I want to put a poll in. Should Ronaldo start? Yes or no? That's all I'm going to ask. Yes or no? And I'm going to come back to that poll, but I'm going to tell you why I think he should start. So we're playing Southampton on Saturday. We're not playing Liverpool. We're not playing a team that's going to play a high line for pace merchants to run in behind. That sort of game benefits Rashford and Alanga. This is a game where they're going to play more conservative. They're going to pack the midfield. They're going to play a deeper line and the little ball over the top, and playing with, what did we have, 35% possession against Liverpool? Might have been lower. We're going to have 70% possession against Southampton. We're going to become a possession team with a high line. What does that mean? It's going to get very congested in the midfield and in the box. What do you want in the box? One of the world's best strikers. I think in a game like this, you need Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, you could play Martial and it might work, but Ronaldo is still one of the best strikers in the world, and we're going to play a team where we can't afford to miss chances. We don't want that home crowd to start growing in confidence. Well, I'll analyse Southampton in a minute, but for me, Cristiano Ronaldo has to play in this game. The only way you don't pick Ronaldo is if he's being sold next week. If we're selling him next week, what's the point? But if he's going to be part of this squad and he's going to be part of this team, then you have to pick Cristiano Ronaldo in a game like this, because Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the world's best strikers, in my opinion. You don't score 18 goals in that terrible United side in the Premier League last year and not be a top-class striker. Look at the goals he scored against Atalanta, Norwich, Spurs. I mean, to mention a few, he can score a goal out of nothing, and this is a game where Ronaldo is absolutely essential in my opinion. So it will come down to, is Ten Hag going to change a winning team? I agree with that. There will be people saying you don't change a winning team. There will be people saying I'd rather we didn't play Ronaldo because I'd rather play Martial, Sancho and Rashford. And there will be the thing that we can't answer, which is if he's going to be sold next week, there's not really any point in starting him. But I think if he's going to be part of this club and stay for this season, then this is where you bring Ronaldo in, because he's better than Martial as a number 9. I mean, are we really going to have that conversation? I'm a big fan of Martial, massive fan of Martial, but Ronaldo's better than him. It's as simple as that, especially in a game like this. So I would play Ronaldo in this game, and the reason I'd play Ronaldo as well, the fear factor. You put Ronaldo up front, it takes a lot of pressure off everybody else. We're away from home. The crowd will be thinking about Ronaldo. That defence will be thinking about Ronaldo. And it creates spaces for other people, which people don't want to talk about that. This is a world-class player you're talking about with world-class movement, who basically, over the last 10 years, has modified his game from being a goal-scoring winger into one of the best strikers in the world. And he knows the movement and he knows the plays. And most important of all, my cherry on the cake, he's the only player we've got in the attack who's good in the air. And I want to see Malacia, Delo getting forward, putting crosses in. Eriksen is very good at putting crosses in from the angles as well. I want to see Sancho putting more crosses in. And we're buying Antony, who likes to put crosses in. So we saw it against Liverpool last week. We couldn't put a cross in because Rashford's no good in the air. Martial's not particularly good in the air. So Ronaldo brings that aerial ability, which of course gives you aerial ability on the defence as well. So I think Ronaldo should start in this game, as long as Ronaldo is going to be staying at the club, which we obviously can't answer at the moment. So Ronaldo comes into the team for me, in my opinion. I don't know whether it actually will happen. We'll have to wait and see on what happens with that. But I do think that I would certainly play him. You have Eriksen as number 21 on your graphic. Couldn't give a shit, Chris. Really couldn't give a shit. If it's causing you issues, then, I'm apologise, but it's not really going to cause me any problems. From running 13 kilometres less than Brentford in one of our worst Premier League performances to tactically outperforming Liverpool in a week, Erik ten Hag deserves more praise, it says Vanny. And Bruno, Eriksen and Casemiro on paper sounds like a beast midfield, says V. I'll tell you what, V, you're doing really well. Ronaldo title card, says Ronaldo. You know what? I'm not reading any more of those out. I don't know whether anybody else is really interested in some of the weirdos we've got in the chat who are obsessed about numbers and spellings, but I'm certainly not that bothered about it. I want to talk about the game at the weekend. So, yes, I look at that 11 and I see improvement, but I don't see weakness. And I really, this is the takeaway bit for me to say, and hopefully for you to acknowledge and think about. I look at that 11 now, and I don't see weakness. I don't. I see improvement areas, but I do not see weakness. I see De Gea in goal. And look, everyone will say, this, that and the other. He's still a world-class shot stopper. He's still a very good goalkeeper. I see Varane and Martinez, and I see a centre-back pairing that I want to build out and I have confidence in. Delo is the best right back we've got. Malacia deserves to stay at left back. Maybe Shaw can push him, but not at the moment. And then I move on to that midfield three, and I just go, you know what? That's the thing that gives me goosebumps. That's the area of the team where I feel rejuvenated and excited. I actually do have goosebumps because I look at that midfield and I go, that's a midfield that I can get behind. I'm firmly in the camp that you win games in the midfield and you lose games in the midfield, and that Liverpool lost the game on Monday because their midfield was worse than ours. And I'd never thought I would see that. Casemiro, Bruno and Eriksen as a midfield three. And there are other combinations. But you could play Casemiro, Fred and Bruno. You could play Casemiro. I think Donny comes into the team more now, because what we have in Casemiro, hallelujah, is a centre defensive midfielder, a specialist centre defensive midfielder. But not only a specialist centre defensive midfielder, one of the best centre defensive midfielders in the world. If I'd said to you 2 months ago, when we were never buying Casemiro, never even interested, if I'd said to you, let's play a little game, let's list the top 5 centre defensive midfielders in the world, Casemiro would be in there. Kimmich would be in there. Fabinho would be in there, of course, but he would be in there. We have now got one of the best centre defensive midfielders in the world. Now, how he adapts to the Premier League, whether he falls off in his 30s, whatever. Right here, right now, we've got one of the best centre defensive midfielders in the world. And that feels good. That does feel good, because the Glazer out movement has to continue. It has to continue. But Manchester United are going to continue playing games. We can't wish Manchester United lose. And if we're going to watch Man United play, I don't know about you, but I'm fed up to the back teeth of watching the last 3 years where we play every game without a specialist centre defensive midfielder. And now we've got one. And now that we've got one, the dynamics of that midfield changes completely. Because when you've not got one, you've got to play McTominay and Fred to basically be a crap CDM together. It's 2 people doing one person's job badly. We've now got one person doing that job on their own, and that frees up how your midfield works. McTominay and Fred were one person doing 2 persons' job badly, like I said, which meant people like Donny, Eriksen, Garner, everybody else who's been messed up over the last, even Pogba. Pogba's career at United was destroyed by the fact that we didn't have a CDM. Because if you ask Pogba to play, he's got to play deep. So the whole midfield has changed now. Alanga in for Rashford, says Charlie. Welcome to the Members Club, Simon. Oh my God, De Jong is coming. I remember who said it first. Aubameyang sailed to fund the hurt. There we go. Okay. Got to praise Ten Hag for what he's done. Figuring out Ronaldo is the problem so quickly. Oh yeah, purple. I'm not reading that either. I don't know whether anybody saw the clip of Ronaldo before the Liverpool game when he was on the bench going round, giving Rashford a hug, handshaking Bruno, Sancho and the whole team. But yeah, Ronaldo's the problem. Just get out of the chat if you're a twat. We're trying to talk about the midfield anyway. So that midfield now is really opens up opportunity. As long as Casemiro adapts and stays fit, you could play Donny, Casemiro and Bruno. Because Donny van de Beek is a number 8, isn't he, really? He's not really a 6. I don't think he'll work as a 10. So it's going to be interesting to see how that midfield 3 grows. Because you have the specialist CDM, which means your other 2 really should be both number 8s. And if you're going to play number 8s, Eriksen, Donny, Fred, Bruno, they can all play that role. Obviously McTominay's still in the equation. McTominay could start at the weekend. Casemiro's only had his first training session today. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I would. But I wouldn't rule it out that Casemiro starts on the bench. You just never know. I don't know enough about this manager. He's only won 1 game. Is he a manager who sticks with a winning team? Or does he make changes? I think Ronaldo should start. I think Casemiro should start. They're the only 2 changes I make. But maybe he'll go, we beat Liverpool, I'm not changing it. Is it true that we just bid 30 million for Asensio? No, Nathan, it's not. Okay, so look, that's how I would go with the midfield. But, you know, he might play Fred. He might play McTominay. I don't think he'll pick Donny, but I'm really excited about what the midfield will do. Mark, will Ronaldo be captain or Bruno keep it, says Mikael. I think Bruno keeps it, to be honest with you. And then the front 3, as I said, I'd pick Ronaldo and obviously Sancho and Rashford at the moment. And then the next big change next week, hopefully we'll be looking at that starting 11 and we'll be going who drops out for Antony, because Antony's got to come into that team. So, look, at least we've got options in areas where we're weak. That midfield, I thought this season was going to be McTominay in that team or Fred in that team. And actually, we've got a CDM who's good now. I honestly disagree with Ronaldo starting, says Marky. Well done for having an opinion. If Ronaldo starts, Southampton centre-backs are going to spend ages on the ball because Ronaldo won't aggressively... Marky, have you watched Southampton? Do they strike you as Beckenbauer? Their defence is shit, mate. As if I mean, I don't know where some people watch football, or do they just read twats on Twitter? Probably me most of the time. This whole Ronaldo doesn't press from the front bullshit. He covered more distance than any of our forwards from Christmas to the end of the season last year. So he's not really had a chance to press from the front with Ten Hag yet anyway, and he will do it. But he might not be at the club. We might sell him next week. I'm just saying, if he's staying at the club and he is genuinely part of Ten Hag's plans, I would start him in this game. Wouldn't a combo of Casemiro, Eriksen and Donny work better for a game against Southampton? Yeah, but I don't think he's going to make those changes, to be honest with you, Stephen. Hi, Mark. My midfield is Donny van de Beek, Bruno and Eriksen with Casemiro. No, Donny van de Beek, Casemiro and then Bruno or Eriksen. But Donny van de Beek and Casemiro for sure. I think Casemiro will bring the best out of Donny, break the play and play a short pass to Donny, who plays a quick line-breaking pass to our forwards. Ashish, you know what? Donny van de Beek was not really something I wanted to talk about, but the genius of the chat is that we will wander into other areas. Andre, welcome to the Members Club. And Valim says, once I finally feel like my grandmum, cannot run through that midfield anymore and score a worldie. Okay. But Donny van de Beek is not a player that's looking to leave United. And that is it's worth mentioning. There is no rumour of Donny asking to go or a club coming in for him. A year ago, Everton were trying to get him on loan and Solskjaer said no. Donny van de Beek is happy to stay at Manchester United for this season and see how it goes. That suggests he's happy with Ten Hag. That suggests Ten Hag's happy with him. At some point, I expect Donny to start getting some game time. I don't think it'll be against Southampton, but I do think you make a good point. With Casemiro in the team, I think you get better Donny. Let's see if it happens. Martial works better in this team than Ronaldo, says HKN. I mean, it's too much of a broad stroke statement for me. Martial was crap last year, injured for most of it and had a bad attitude. He's had a good pre-season and he played well against Liverpool. And now you're suddenly saying that Martial's better for Manchester United than our player of the year who scored 18 goals in the Premier League. I'm a massive fan of Martial, but I think those sort of comments are divisive and cause issues. We need options up front. We can't play Martial for 60 games and we can't play Ronaldo for 60 games. I want them both. And I just think in a game like this, I would use Ronaldo because he's our best striker and it suits a game like this. Obviously, you're going to get some people who just think, I want Martial, I want Martial, I want Martial, and basically they need to go and play FIFA because this is real life. We're talking about real qualities and we're talking about lots of games. My opinion is Ronaldo should start. If your opinion is Martial should start, I ain't got a problem with it because I like Martial. But saying Martial's better than Ronaldo, I just don't want those sort of conversations because they both play for the same fucking team and it's the team that we support and it's the thing that's divided us for fucking ages. If we turn up on Saturday, we should thrash Southampton with this lineup, says Simran. I'd start Ronaldo, but Martial needs some time. You could put Martial on the left, SK. If I'm honest, I'd pick that team. If I'm honest, I don't think he'll start Ronaldo, and he might not start Casemiro. Will there be a backlash from the media if let's say all the deals done, including Frankie de Jong? Well, it's not going to happen, AKA. And Mark, remember Ollie won 9-0, says Mikael Roach, and Martial makes others better. Rashford and Sancho play better with Martial, says HKN. Mate, you're dominating the chat and you've already made your point. You want Martial to start over Ronaldo, but let me just tell you this. Should Ronaldo start? 10,000 votes, yes. 64%. So, your opinion is not the definitive opinion, and my opinion is not the definitive opinion. Agree to disagree. You don't need to make the same point twice. Moving back to the team, I want to talk about Southampton, but somebody did say, would you make any other changes? Well, look, I suppose, to be fair, if Ronaldo comes into a winning team and Casemiro comes into a winning team, why does Harry Maguire or Luke Shaw not come into a winning team, or Lindelof? My answer to that would be that I think defence is about confidence and communication, and I think it's always a risk to change your back five. It's like changing your goalkeeper, changing your centre backs. They had a very good performance. I mean, look, it was a battle between Malacia, Martinez and Varane for man of the match. I gave it to Varane. Some people went with Malacia, some people went with Martinez. Those three players played fantastically well. They are newbies in that team. Malacia's took Shaw's spot. Martinez is a new signing as well. And Varane didn't start the first two games of the season. De Gea and Dalot will start whoever plays. So really, Dalot and De Gea are going to play. So you're going to change Varane, Martinez or Malacia, who played superbly well on Monday night and actually looked like they communicated quite well. And one thing that hasn't been mentioned, and I've seen it over the last couple of years, the relationship between Luke Shaw and Maguire. When they were playing well the season before last, when Luke Shaw was one of the best left-backs in the world and Maguire was doing okay, he was doing well actually. The people used to talk about that communication between Luke Shaw and Maguire, that English connection, and they clearly had an understanding. I've not heard many people talking about the communication and understanding between Malacia and Martinez, who, let's be honest, never played for the same club, Feyenoord and Ajax, not the same nationality, thrown in against Liverpool to deal with Salah. The communication and understanding was fantastic. So you want to keep building that. And they will make mistakes. Maybe they'll make a mistake against Southampton. They're not going to be flawless. But I think you've got to stick with the back four because you've got to try and build something out that's positive. And we were very unlucky to concede against Liverpool. I would be looking to not concede against Southampton. Mark, I'm still very surprised that Donny van der Beek has only been brought on after the 85th minute, says V. And I saw that United are going to bid for Asensio. No, we're not, Tom. It's just complete bullshit story. We're not bidding for Asensio. And if we were bidding for Asensio, I'd be very concerned about why we're bidding for Asensio. Because if we get Antony, I don't think we'd really need Asensio. I'd rather we went for Gakpo, to be honest. It doesn't make any sense to go for Asensio. It makes no sense, Theo. But we'll see. You never know with United. We did bid for Arnautovic, but I do need to talk to you about Memphis. So let's talk about Southampton very, very quickly. Now, I'm in a unique position, as I'm sure many of you are as well. I'm very happy with that team. It's not finished. It's not going to win the title. I don't think it will get top four, but I'm very happy with that team. And of course, you've still got players like Martial and Donny and Fred and Maguire and Shaw who are not featuring there that are good players to have in the squad. And some people would swap some of those players in for some of those on there. It's amazing what a midfielder makes. Every team I've looked at of United recently, I've just been like, the midfield shit. And suddenly that Casemiro signing makes a big difference. Imagine if we had got De Jong as well, it would have been, such a step up. But probably not going to happen, but we'll wait and see. What about Southampton? This is exactly the sort of game that we struggle in. And we know it. Hi, I've just joined. Can I ask why Dalot has an English flag? Someone tell him. Someone tell Damon. I wish we, if you know, Damon, you've got to be part of the crew. I wish we could keep Garner and sell McTominay, says Yusuf. Not the only one. Not the only one. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Disgusting, in fact, that we're selling Garner. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, I watched him a lot last season in the Championship, and I'm like, you know, he's got to be given a chance now, and we're going to sell him. I'm disgusted by the Garner treatment, to be honest with you. Don't get me started. Assuming we can't play Varane for every game, what kind of games could Maguire feasibly play and not be a liability, says Stephen. And there ain't 4 better teams than us, says Robert McCormack. Robert, I'm loving the positivity. Arsenal are better than us. Liverpool are better than us. Man City are better than us. Chelsea are better than us. And Spurs are better than us. So there's 5. Right here. I hope you're right, Robert. But right here, right now, you can't say that those 5 teams aren't better than us just because we beat Liverpool. And look, I've heard a few people saying this week, United only beat Liverpool because they had so many injuries and they had a crap midfield. So there are still people who are going, you only beat Liverpool 2-1 and they were very weak. I think we deserved to win that game. I thought we were fantastic. But if we want to mix it with those 5 teams that I believe are better than us, then we need some consistency. I think that team is capable, but that is why the next 2 games are really important. I'm concerned that we're going to not win against Southampton or Leicester because that's typical of what United have done over the last few years. It's a real dangerous couple of games because we should win and we might not win. Now, in keeping with being positive here, I'm going to predict that we're going to win 3-1. I think we will win. I think Southampton's defence is crap. And I really do think we'll score some goals. And I think that we'll dominate possession, we'll create a lot of chances, and we'll beat them comfortably. I do not see us losing this game. But before the Clippers get in, I would just say this. I don't play for United. I don't coach United. And I can never be 100% trusting in these United players because how many times have they played well and then embarrassed themselves? So, of course, Southampton could beat us 4-0. Brentford beat us 4-0. That result could just be round the corner. And that's why I'm saying to Robert, you know, all right, we beat Liverpool, but the week before, Brentford were 4-0 up at half-time. Things can go wrong very quickly with this team. But I sense a change. I hope there's going to be a change. And when I look at Southampton so far this season, correct me if I'm wrong, first game of the season they got stuffed at Spurs. Was it 3 or 4-0 or 1? Then they were 2-0 down at home to Leeds and got a draw, 2-2. And then last week they beat a poor Leicester side 2-1. They've conceded in every game, and I think we're more than capable of. We'll score more than 2 goals in this game if we play well. I think we'll score 3. I can't see us conceding that many. I think that defence is more organised, more competent. I think the midfield is going to be better. And I think it's going to be 3 points for us on Saturday. And I'm not disrespecting Southampton. I think they're a hard-working team. But they're not Wolves. They've not got loads of quality in their team. They're not that level. They're not West Ham. And I know West Ham are bottom at the moment. But, you know, West Ham have got some quality players. I think Southampton are a team that's going to finish 14th, 15th, 16th. And United need to be rolling them over. And I think we will do. And I think the same with Leicester on Thursday. I wouldn't like to predict we're going to get 6 points. Part of me thinks we'll get 4, but I think we have to beat Southampton on the weekend. If we lose to Southampton, will the Glazers panic and go back in for De Jong, says Vanny? Well, that's the sort of thing they would do, yeah. As much as I'm looking forward to seeing Casemiro, we should be seeing Antony too, all because we get a win and all guns blazing turns to firing blank, says Glenn. Mark, could you see Tielemans or Lamer on deadline day, says Miko Roach? I think Tielemans will go to Arsenal, that's what I've always been told, and it would be a late August deal, maybe even early September, because it's September the 1st, isn't it, that the transfer window closes. If United win this weekend, will the Antony deal suddenly get wound down, says YK? No. So I'm going to go 3-1 Manchester United against Southampton. And, look, let's get it back on the reel here. We have to go and win our next few games. And look, I don't want to sort of concern people, but we lost the first 2 games. We took no points from 6. We've got 3 from 9. If we beat Southampton, we've got 6 from 12. It's going to take a while and a lot of wins to get this back on track. You know, if we get to, 10 games, 24 points from 30, that'll get us back into the top 4. But that means we've got to win our next 7 games. So it's difficult. 6 games. But no. Yeah, 7 games. So it's difficult. It's difficult to get back. And look, we've got Southampton away, Leicester away, and then we've got Arsenal at home a week on Sunday. So we need to take 9 points from those games. And even then, we might only be 6 points behind Arsenal. No, we're 3 points behind Arsenal. So we're not in a good position. And this is, I think this is what a lot of fans are talking about. One win, Casemiro and Antony, and the fan base is feeling positive. We've got 3 points from 9. We have to win a lot of games now to try and get this season back. We can't afford to draw games. We definitely can't afford to lose games. If we draw with Southampton, it's 4 points from 12. That's abysmal. We have got to win our next 3 games. And even if we do, we'd have, 12 from 18? That would probably put us sort of around 6th or 7th. So to get our season back on track within pouncing difference of having a good season, we need to win our next 3 games. So Southampton to me is step 1, Leicester step 2, and then Arsenal step 3. That's what we've got to do to get this season back, because I know it's only 6 points off the top at the moment, but it's the quality of games that we've lost. Losing to Brighton and Brentford, with all due respect, how many of our real rivals, are going to do that? Hopefully they all will. But we stopped United signing an ex-West Ham player. Why can't we stop them from selling Garner? It's such a mistake, says Clay. You're right, Mark. The players can't be trusted. We need 4 or 5 consistent games. Eric Ten Hag got it perfect on Monday, and this will be a challenge from here, says D-Train. I hope Eric Ten Hag has had words with Bruno after his childish antics against Liverpool. 27 going on 12. He can't be this week's captain, says Chris. Is there any hope for getting De Jong, says Mohit? I don't think that... I don't know about... Look, with De Jong, the whole summer transfer window was built about it. I mean, until the window closes, I won't say it's not a possibility. But, somebody wanted me to talk about these Memphis rumours. Memphis Depay to Manchester United could happen because Barcelona want to move him on. But Memphis Depay to Manchester United, I think it's just... He's better than nothing. He's better than an Arnautovic. He's better than a lot of things. But remember, Memphis has been at this club before. Remember, at Barcelona, he didn't really set the world on fire. He was very good in France, but Memphis Depay is also... I just think it's... I don't think it's the right move for him. I think the pressure on him would be huge this time. And, you know what the English media is like. You know what it's been like with Pogba and other players. They will perceive... He is perceived as a bit of a character, and they'll play on that. Would he actually start games for United? Would he be happy to sit on the bench? Would he become quite, unsettled if we had him on the bench? I don't sense the Memphis Depay deal is a good deal for either parties, but it doesn't mean that won't happen. I mean, at the end of the day, they thought buying Arnautovic was, as I said a couple of weeks ago, there's literally no player you can say United aren't definitely going to buy, because we tried to buy Arnautovic, and I think the club would like you to forget that. I think Richard Arnold, the Glazers, John Murtagh, they'd all like you to forget that they bid for Arnautovic, which was a complete and utter PR disaster that they seem to want to sweep under the carpet and make people forget. I think that needs to go on their CV. Bidding for Arnautovic was a disgrace, for more reason than one. The off-field stuff, but he's not the sort of player we should be signing anyway. So of course we could sign Memphis. I wouldn't rule anything out, but I just don't think that's the right deal to do. Told you De Jong is coming. Ali Dursun now in Barcelona after being in Mayfair HQ. It says Shay RM. Yeah, but he was outside Chelsea's ground as well, wasn't he? We'll be shocked if McTominay plays over Casemiro, says V. Look, on Frankie De Jong, the T-shirt remains. Here it is. It's either going to get framed and put in my office, or I'm gonna auction it off for charity, because there's only one of those in existence. And but until that transfer window shuts, I will not say De Jong is off. I know we've reported it because other journalists have. I've never had good information on De Jong, really. Antony, really good, can literally get on the WhatsApp and normally get a very good update on it. As you'll know, if you've been watching it throughout the summer, I said that was going to hit the UK press, and it did, about Antony, and we've been very well informed on that. But De Jong, very hard to find anything out. I speak to a few journalists, and all I've ever been told about De Jong is that, and this is consistent, and it's from numerous people, and we've had Fabrizio on the show, and you've read it online as well. All I ever knew about De Jong was that Manchester United were confident that they were going to get him, and they were patient. And as we know, Murtagh and Arnold flew out to Barcelona. That was the message. There was, people have been... I remember back in the middle of May when we were linked to De Jong, and some of you were saying, Why are we going for De Jong? Why are we going for a marquee signing? We need to buy 2 or 3 midfielders for 30 million, not one for 70 million. So De Jong has always been a very volatile transfer, and it's been spoken about because some people just didn't want us to do it. So it's not like a normal transfer, and United have been constantly asked about it, and they've always been very confident and patient about the De Jong deal because it's what Ten Hag wants. I don't know. Now, I don't know, and I don't know anybody who does know why United spent all summer on a player that has always been adamant that he wants to stay at Barcelona. Now, many people have said there are private conversations that have gone on with the agent, with Manchester United and with Ten Hag. And my understanding always was this. Barcelona want to sell him and they put him up for sale. De Jong would like to stay at Barcelona, but he's owed money. And the agent has spoken to Manchester United and agreed a broad agreement as to what the wages would be at Man United, what the contract would be. And obviously a fee was agreed Barcelona. Now, I know for a fact we've agreed the personal terms with De Jong in the sense of we'll pay you this if you come, but they're not agreed personal terms. It's almost like De Jong has said, I don't want to leave Barcelona, but if I have to leave Barcelona, I will come to Man United and I do like those wages. But the reason why he hasn't come makes no sense. Because if he said, I don't want to leave Barcelona unless they kick me out, and then I will come to United, United never should have been involved in the first place because he doesn't want to leave. And what we've been led to believe is that De Jong will leave Barcelona to come to United, but he just wants the money he's owed. It's just about the money. But I don't think it is that. I genuinely think United waited all summer for De Jong because Barcelona might kick him out and find a way to kick him out, and then he'll come to us, which is that's not a happy player. I mean, say what you like about Casemiro. He wanted to leave Real Madrid because he likes the financial package and the challenge. The De Jong thing is weird. It's just really weird. But I wouldn't say it's impossible because United have been so fixated with it. Who knows? How does Ronaldo win his place back in the team? How can he impress as a substitute without chances, says Majek? Glenn says the one saving grace is a lot of teams are capable of taking points off each other, says Glenn. Yeah, look, Glenn, we can get back into this season. It's only 3 games in. We're above Liverpool, and I still think Liverpool can win the league. So what do we need? What's the lesson? We need to start winning games. But we can't afford to draw games, and we can't afford to lose games in the next 3. We've got to win 3 in a row. And Southampton, Leicester, and then Arsenal at home, we can do that, and then I think our season will be back on track. Mark, do you think we'd see a change in captaincy? Then Harry Maguire won't be a regular starter. Love from India. I think Harry Maguire is the captain of the club. I've seen this happen at a lot of teams. If the captain doesn't play, somebody else plays. But if the captain plays, he's the captain. So I think what you're trying to say is if Maguire plays, will Bruno keep the captaincy? And I don't think he will. De Jong always wanted Champions League. If we qualify Champions League, he'll come. He doesn't want to join anyone because of Eric Ten Hag. He wants to work with Eric Ten Hag, but also wants to play the Champions League. If we were in the Champions League, De Jong would be done. Disagree. I think it's your drift. I think it's too simplistic. I don't think it's that. I really don't think it's that, because he can't just stay at Barcelona because they're in the Champions League. Barcelona don't want to get. It's nothing to do with the Champions League. If he has to leave Barcelona and it's to do with the Champions League, he'll go to Chelsea. The Barcelona exit thing is about money. They don't want to pay him the wages he's on. That's why they want to sell him. Xavi likes De Jong. He wants to keep him, and he might end up staying. But something will have to be done about his wages because they can't afford to pay those wages without, severely impacting their future stability. Anyway, look, I'm going to go 3-1 Manchester United against Southampton. Let us know what you think. And it's nice to do a preview with a team that, look, and you can swap Martial for Ronaldo if you want to. It's still a very good team. It's not a team that's going to win the league, by the way. But it looks like a team, doesn't it? There's no obvious holes in it. Whatever you think about Rashford or Sancho or Malacia or Delo or anybody else, they're good players who, yeah, they could let us down, but they could be improved as well. I agree with that. But there's no glaring that midfield's going to get dominated. I think every preview I've done for the last 18 months, I just think our midfield will get dominated and therefore we might lose the game. With that midfield and the options Casemiro opens up, I think that I think there should be a change in United now, and that back five looks like it can grow together as well. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Right, thanks everyone for watching, by the way. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. We're back at 8 o'clock, but 2 things I've got to tell you. This afternoon, if you're interested, I will be live talking about football for about an hour and a half on That's Football YouTube channel. I'm live at 4:45 for the Champions League draw. Man United aren't in it, but I'll be chatting away about football if you're free. Tune in at 4:45 for the That's Football Champions League draw. Europa League draw tomorrow on this channel, because we're in that at midday, and then we'll have the press conference afterwards. But please, as a personal message, I've put the link in the chat. It's at the top of the group. New Going for Goldbridge episode. Please give it a watch. Some interesting stories in there. Goldbridge of the Brave is the episode. Basically, it's a story where I have a go at cyclists, people who don't like spoilers, and dogs. Basically, it's a story about me being attacked by dogs on holiday. It could have been the end of my knees. Check it out. Anyway, please do. I know you tune in a lot for the United stand, but I'm really trying to get that off the ground, Going for Goldbridge, and I'd really appreciate your thoughts on it. So links in the live chat, or just type in Going for Goldbridge on YouTube. Give it a watch, let me know what you think, and thanks for your support on that as well. I'll see you again at 8 o'clock, or if you're going to join in for the Champions League draw on That's Football at 5. And as I said, please do click the Going for Goldbridge. I'm not on Twitch today because it's Thursday. I've got mixed up. I'm back tomorrow on Twitch, big episode tomorrow. So please do check out Going for Goldbridge. The link's in the live chat. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.